Alright folks, Btoon here, and I want to show you guys the new Band Jig. This is the 10-inch model, and we have etching with inches and millimeters at the top and bottom, and also got a new teardrop type entry point for your razor instead of that triangle that the original prototype had. So with the new measurements here, you can just use this to measure out your cuts if you'd like. I went ahead and already marked out some measurements just to save time, but I've marked out a quick piece of band here, 5/8 to a 1/2 inch taper, and you can put your dots where your measurements are, and then just take your jig and lay it down point to point, and just a nice spread of your fingers across the jig here. Just push down nice and firm and take your razor and just slowly run it. Point to point, and the jig will just guide your razor. Alright, so you'll see that it gives you a nice even cut, nice straight cut every time. As long as you're holding your razor nice and perpendicular to the jig, it'll give you a nice good cut. Alright guys, I'll show you some Band Jig stuff here. I'm going to be using a 12-inch jig for this. Getting ready to cut a band set for Mr. Green, and he shoots butterfly, so I'm going to cut him a 12-inch length band set. And I've peeled 12 inches out of the box here, and we'll get started. I'll just do a 3/4 straight cut for one of these band sets here. And with the measurements, jump on the jig and mark out 3/4, and I'll double this up. Alright, so with the 12-inch jig, point to point, we'll make some band sets. Now you notice with these longer band jigs, making these longer sets, you kind of just slide your hand up the jig as you maintain pressure, and it is a bit of technique to keep the pressure down and still slide your hand up, but you'll get it. And that's it. So those are all perfect. Alright guys, another thing I'm going to show you real quick is that say you got a band with a rip in it, you can just take the jig and you can actually just cut the rip out of your band and you can still salvage something. If you want to make ties or something, it'd be good. You can take a lot of your scrap bands and cut the bad parts out, and now you have a good band. You can use this for whatever. So I'll go ahead and cut this down the middle once again, and I'll get a couple good ties out of this, and you'll see it's pretty easy. So there you go, a couple good ties, easy.